I am so excited to see that Sword Art Online is back. Yes, we have a second season of Mother's Rosario. Jokes aside, I just got done with the first 2 episodes of In the Land of Leadale. This is a new series that is airing in the winter 2022 anime season. This is my thoughts on the first 2 episodes, so let's jump into it. In the Land of Leadale opens up with a girl waking up inside of an inn inside of this fantasy world. And as she quickly realizes this world itself kind of seems similar to something she recognizes, which is apparently this video game, this VR MMO game that she used to play. As we find out, this girl has been hospitalized for most of her life, and one of the ways that she used to kind of pass time was playing a VR MMO game. It seems like she realizes really quickly that things have changed a little bit in this world. It seems like 200 years has passed since the time that she actually played the game. But additionally, it seems like she has more senses. She has the ability to taste and everything. And after conversing with this thing she calls Key, which is almost like it's kind of minion or this little supporter, she comes to find out that it seems like she's disconnected from the hospital administrator. So it does seem like whatever connection she had to the system that she was playing the VR MMO game before is now gone. It claims that there was a blackout and power was lost on her life support system. So it is kind of funny because it kind of just glosses over that factor like, oh, I must have died. So anyways, it just kind of plays it out like that. Like, okay, I guess we don't care anymore. Whoops, I guess we're dead. I'm in this world now, who cares? So yeah, as it kind of follows this, we see kind of this girl is essentially trying to figure out what's going on in this world, what has changed. The big indicator was there used to be 7 big powers in this area, and at some point they were clashing so much the gods showed up and essentially restructured the powers themselves. So she gets an idea, like I said, of what has actually transpired over those 200 years. She ends up finding out that her son is now this high priest, and she kind of remembers the fact that, oh yeah, that's right, I had children in this world. I had these, apparently you could adopt children, and so she adopted an elf boy, an elf girl, and some dwarf. So you kind of have her as she tries to find out where those people are at. You also get a sense about like the popularity that she had at some point. She used to be known as like this crazy witch of this silver tower, and the silver tower is essentially her place that she can go to that has like this cache that she keeps all of her stuff in, kind of like a player housing in most games. But yeah, it just kind of follows her as she kind of travels around and reacquaints herself with the world itself. Again, not really caring too much of where she came from. She's like, okay, that happened. I'm dead, I guess. I'll have fun here. And pretty laid back exploration of the world that she's in. So my thoughts on In the Land of Leadale. This is I'm mixed on this show so far. I honestly, opening up this show with the first episode, I was not impressed. I thought that it did not look good at all. And I think that's kind of something that kept throughout the entire 2 episodes that I've watched. It's just not a very good looking show. It looks very wonky. Character designs don't keep on model. There's bare minimum animation happening here, so keep that in mind. It's not a deal breaker for me, but at the same time, it was rough, and to see it be rough from the get-go, I guess set my expectations. Additionally, to be honest, for pretty much the entire first episode, I found the show extremely boring. There wasn't really much to grab my attention. It did seem kind of laid back, that's for sure, and I think that was kind of the expectation coming into the series, that it was going to be a very laid back show. Here's a girl that gets a new chance at life, and she's just kind of chilling, and she's relaxing, and she's enjoying this new world. I think the big upset that I really had was just how glossed over her origins was. And I thought that was really going to be a powerful point in the storytelling early on, was this idea of, here's somebody that has spent their entire life in a hospital, and their only way of, escapism was this video game, and now she's in that video game. But again, it just really quickly glosses over the fact that, oh, by the way, you just died. And she doesn't really seem to care. It's like, okay, so what about this? It didn't really spend any time at all. And it might be something that they'll get into later on, really kind of diving into how she feels like, hey, this is a better experience for me. But it really does seem like a missed opportunity. With that said, getting into the second episode, I think I started feeling, I guess, the flavor of this writer. And that's where I started getting more intrigued. I really did like the aspect of her finding these children and her just kind of walking up and teasing this son who's a dwarf. And he's like this, obviously it's been 200 years since she first kind of adopted them. And so he is an adult. And so he gets really frustrated by the fact that, she calls him son and stuff like that. And everybody's kind of reacting to it, and he's blushing. It was really cute seeing the meeting of all the children and them being like extremely either terrified of what she will do because she was turned away, or just being upset that anybody would disrespect their mother. It was just really cute to see this kind of like a parental side of the story. Just her children and how they see her coming back from this 200-year adventure that she was doing, or at least she claims that she was on an adventure. It was just really cute. And so at least that whole side of the whole story, this idea of the children, I think was really cool and very unique in a sense of an isekai show. It's just everything else seemed very meh. And it was kind of odd to have the magic in this world is, I think, a little bit too much. At times, it seems like she spends 5 hours trying to cast a spell and lay it out. And then at other times, she just kind of says 2 phrases and boom, the magic goes into effect. So it seems very inconsistent with the magic. What it was is that the first introductions of how magic works in this world was extremely complex and very time consuming. And I was like, wow, I don't see anybody using magic in this world. But then later on, like I said, it's just like suddenly they just go, we'll just cast the spells instantaneously now. Don't worry about it. It's not that complicated as much as we made it out to be. But at any rate, I'll be interested to see exactly what, I guess, the story kind of unfolds as. I think the only thing that we've really kind of established so far as a through-line storyline for her to go through is the fact that it seems like she's obviously trying to see if there's other players in this world. And based on what the guardian of her tower said, it implies that there's no other players, because all the other towers, which you assume each tower is occupied by a player, because like I said, it's almost like their player housing, their player caches is where these are at. The guardian says they're abandoned. So that this implies that the players that were at each of these towers are no longer there, because obviously it's been 200 years and she's dead. At least it's implied that she's dead. So her figuring out if there's other players. Additionally, I'm assuming maybe at some point getting into the 3 nations that were the after effect of the 7 nations kind of divided might end up being, creating something interesting. It obviously seems like 200 years has changed the landscape substantially. So her kind of adventuring throughout the world is going to be something that'll be interesting for her now that she no longer has to worry about her other life. But either way, it's a cute looking show. It's got some rough edges with the animation. I really do like the whole children aspect of it. I think that's definitely a much more unique take on that whole concept. Again, as much as I joke about it being basically Mother's Rosario second season, as for those that don't know about that, you can look up the story. I don't want to spoil things, but I don't think it's a requirement for them to really get into that. It just seemed, like I said before, just kind of a missed opportunity to really settle her in this world. Because I think the problem that I'm having with it not addressing where she was from and the fact that she has possibly died doesn't allow me to get a sense of her caring. Maybe it's me overthinking it, but you can establish a lot of character from what she thinks of that situation, honestly. I mean, again, going from having nothing and being stuck in a bed to having a new life, possibly. But either way, we'll see how it goes. That's my thoughts on In the Land of Leadale, a series, again, in the winter 2022 anime season. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the series. Did you really like the first episode, not the second episode, unlike me? Let me know. I thank everybody for checking out this video. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to get all of my first impressions of the entire season. I will be going through all the shows. As always, definitely appreciate all of our Patreon supporters and those who support us through the tips link in the description below. And with that said, I thank you all for watching, and y'all take care.